I don't know what
happened or what was on that night. I had to, but she just felt it's so comfortable. It's so comfortable for her to say come out her mouth and then be worried later on.
How long did it take to kind of come to the good place y'all are at now?
Once we broke up, it was a lot of like, I'm trying to think how long that was. It took us, we had to both come to the understanding. She had to realize that I didn't want anything. I didn't wish her no bad ill. I just really just wanted to be in my daughter's life, and you were not going to keep her from me. Anyway, you were trying, I'm going to find a way to be there. So that's not going to happen. And once she realized that I was really sincerely only concerned about my child, it became more easier. And then also as she grew on her own, she realized that like, oh my gosh, like she even made a comment like, you know, I'm going to have to deal with some of the whatever comes from treating you how I treated you. You know what I'm saying? I understood that. And I don't know how I was, I think around my, it possibly was maybe like, I want to say a year to fully just get to that point where we all were on the same page.
I'd say that's good timing.
Yeah,
that's I'd say that's a good amount of short amount of time.
It is. I wanted to say 6-8 months, but to fully just feel comfortable because she entered into a new relationship kind of soon. So it was very fast for me to acclimate myself with, okay, we're done. She's in a new relationship. Get used to it, and then get used to my daughter being around somebody else and how she's interacting with this person. And so just making sure that I got myself in check, like mentally, and was just like, it's about my daughter. So if my daughter's good, I'm good with whoever she's loving and whoever's loving her back. Yeah. And long as she respects me and I respect her in regards to our daughter, not in regards to we exes. No, we're co-parents. Yeah. And once we got wrapped around that, like it was really smooth sailing. When I say it's the best dynamic ever, like I love the death out of the mother of my child. Like we survive right now. We call each other about anything.
Yeah, that's really nice. That's really positive. I'm happy to hear that. I always wanted to ask someone this. I never think it's okay for me to ask, but I'm gonna ask you this question. I feel like whenever there's a breakup, there's like this weird unspoken, like not necessarily like a competition, but like a notice of who's gonna get with someone else first. Oh, have you ever felt that, or is it just me?
Listen, I definitely wasn't trying to. At that time, I was so like, I think it's different because I had a child. But in other situations, I'm gonna think outside of just this particular one. I've never been quick to try to hop back into something.
Yeah, me. I never am the one who wants to hop into something either, but I always like feel like it's just for some reason it makes me feel some type of way when I'm not the one who got with someone else first. But I never am because I don't want to be. Right. I don't want to be that. But I still just can't help but feel a little like when it's not me.
Right. I'm just more so it lets me know like it's kind of like, well, dang, did you like? It makes you think like, did you even care? But at the same time, it's like,
was you even here? Was you even with us? Like,
it's like you can't tell somebody how their connection's gonna work with somebody else. Yeah. But it does. It kind of is like, dang, they done moved on, and you probably over here looking like bitter Betty or somebody over here. And I'm like, nah, I'm really happy, by myself.
I'm chilling actually.
Yeah, but people can't believe that. Like, you can't be like, she is not happy single. No, she not. And she was so and so who I am, and I'm very much happy for them. I wish them no bad ill. Yes. You feel me? But yeah, it do sting. Like you just a smidge. You gotta be like, dang. I thought like, we was doing. It's not.
Like
and then I be thinking like, what's this person already here? But yeah, that slick competition that people. I think that is a real thing though. Like who's gonna get in the relationship first? And I be like, not me. I'm just gonna tell you not me. Yeah. But at the same time, you wrong for going that fast into the other one.
So I've accepted that it will never be.
Yeah, it's definitely never. Because I be taking good little breaks in between. Like when I say I haven't had a relationship since 2017, and I broke up with her, or we broke up. We broke up in 2015. So I dated we broke up. I didn't date no one, and then I started dating someone in like 2017. We dated for like 8 months, broke up. And then, of course, I've dated along the way, but, like, I haven't been in a relationship and no long one since that one. Yeah. So.
It's hard out here.
Yeah. Somebody says pee in the water. It's pee in the water. I was like, wow. I don't know if it's pee in the water because that means like I'm in the water with the pee. Like I don't want to be in the water. I'm gonna stand on the outside of the pool.
That's true. Yeah, I like to be outside of the pool. So I take a break from dating like after every person that I date.
Yeah.
I'm probably just like I'm not dating anymore for like 7 months after, even if I was like talking to someone.
Because I really have to. I digress. Like I really have to. What did I do? You feel me? Then I have to understand what didn't I do. Yeah. And then I have to understand, okay, how am I going to moving forward? Like, what am I taking with me right now? Am I carrying baggage? I feel like I'm carrying baggage.
Yeah, and what did I see in this person that I know that I don't want the next time?
Yeah. It's a whole process.
Yeah. And not everybody does it. So, I'll say that. Okay. So, I was also going to ask, so your daughter is still in Florida? Right? Mm-hmm. Okay, gotcha. So do you like just kind of go visit a lot? And
I try. Yeah. I haven't been in a while because of trying to get everything settled out here. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, I try to talk to her as much as I can. You know, she's very much grown and wise and mature. But yeah.
How old is she now?
She's 8. Going on 21.
Oh yeah.
Going on 50.
Yeah.
As far as wisdom is concerned. I just went home, but it was for my brother's service and things of that nature. So I was like, it was so much going on, so much pressure on me. Mm-hmm. I wasn't going to be able to fully give attention to my child. Mm-hmm. I wanted to get me not seeing her for like almost 3 months now. Mm-hmm. Since the last time I was able to go down there and pick her up or visit her and things of that nature. So I'm shooting for October on the 31st to go visit, but as much as I can.
Halloween, gonna go spend Halloween down there?
Yeah, she loves Halloween. She loves dressing up. But I'm definitely doing as much as I can to stay present, and long as she knows we good, that's all that matters to me.
Yeah. Okay. And I suppose I don't know if I necessarily want to use the word like or would you use the word heartbroken to describe how you felt when things ended, or were you kind of like already just kind of emotionally taxed at that point, or do you feel like you were heartbroken when things ended?
When things ended, I think it was a little bit of both. Like I was in limbo. Like I was pissed off. I was hurt, but I think I was hurt because of everything that was going on more than the breakup. If we could have just broke up, I would have been fine because it was necessary. It was needed. It should have been done a long time ago. I'm dragging it because I'm trying to stay in a relationship for our child. You're dragging it because you know that comfortability that I'm always going to be able to take care of us whenever something, if anything needs to be done, you could depend on me. So we're both dragging it for these reasons that are no reasons to be in a relationship. So if we could have just broke up amicably, like how we originally started, and it was fine. Like when we first broke up, it was kind of like good, and then things took place when if it wasn't all of that, but like how she tried to, when she started acting like that whole like, she just treated me like I was a person off the street or something, and that's what really got me. I was just like,
brand new.
Like I'm like, yo, I feel you, but dang. So it was a little bit of both. I was very much pissed off, but at the same time, I was just like, you know what? It is what it is. I've been knew it was coming. Why are you even upset? I just more upset with myself for like the person I have become. Like I don't even know who the hell I am no more. Like, you feel me? So yeah.
What were some of the ways that you tried to like cope with things? Like I'm definitely like a distraction person. Like I'm gonna wake up at 7 a.m. I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna like do work on my laptop. I'm gonna call every single one of my friends, and then I'm gonna like keep myself busy constantly so it doesn't like catch up with me. That's kind of what I tend to do. So like what are some of the ways that you kind of like cope with things?
After every, like, I'm realizing now a breakup really fuels me. I think it fuels a lot of people, but it definitely fuels me. So I'll start working on myself, like going to physically. Like I lost a lot of weight afterwards. I was going out, but at the same time, like it was more so I consumed myself with my daughter. Like I made everything about her. Like for a good period of time on my Instagram, on my face, you would see nothing but my child. Like my life pretty much was Malia, and that was it. Because also I didn't even know I went through it. A stage of depression, all this other stuff. Back then, those type of topics weren't, discussed. They were like taboo. And also, I just didn't know what that looked like and how that presented in people. So I was just like, dang, I didn't know that. But all in all, I definitely stayed busy, and I worked on myself. And I did anything and everything I could to do with my daughter, because for the beginning of our like split, she was with me like Monday through Friday because her school was closer to me. So I didn't really have time to wallow in it. I didn't, because Malia was like 2 at the time, and very, smart and very active, and I didn't have time, like, from picking her up, taking her to wherever she needed to go, or whatever, thing we had her in at the time. Like, I really didn't have time to wallow. I was pissed at certain times. You feel me? Like, when I had the time to really sit and think, you trying me? Like, but outside of that, like, consume myself with my daughter, pretty much. That's really what took place.
Gotcha. Okay. I wish I could do that with my cats. I don't think it would really work the same way. They don't have to go to school.
Right.
Like, take I don't have to like feed them. I mean, a machine feeds them. I don't have to feed them.
Sheesh. Yeah, that's going a little bit different. That's responsibilities right there.
Hey. Okay, so I don't really like the word. I'm not crazy about the word like regrets, because I do think like you shouldn't necessarily like regret things,
right.
But I definitely, in my situations, I have things that I wished I wouldn't have done. So I was like, I went too far with that one. Yeah. That was unnecessary. Like, were there any moments that like, also, you don't want to share, that's fine.
Right.
But just like anything that you like did something out of like anger or resentment, and you were just like, I wish I wouldn't have done that or said that. Like,
yeah,
it was just unnecessary.
Our relationship got very, very, very toxic for us and the people around us at the time. So there was a lot of things where I look back and I'm like, dang, that was horrible. Now, do I wish I would have not done it? No, but at the same time, I can't say I regret it, because it really, like, who I am now and how I am now, I know very much has a lot to do with those situations and things of that nature. So, yes, it's some things that went down and took place on my part for sure that, I was not always my best. You know what I'm saying? I know it played a part in how she reacted and the things that she were doing. And I didn't really understand her fully at the time when she was going through those things as far as her pregnancy. And even though I was being very patient, you know what I'm saying, I also feel bad that I didn't have more patience with myself. Like, I put my child and my daughter before me, and that's not even though that sounds great and people are like, oh, that's what you should do. No, you shouldn't. Yeah. Because once you do that, you have nothing. I'm literally pouring from an empty cup. Like, I can't even give to my daughter how I want to give because I'm so broken. Yeah. So, yeah, it was some things I said, some things I did that were just not something to this day where I'm like, oh my gosh, I if I tell people, I'm just like, I'm not proud of it, but this took place. You know what I'm saying? This is what happened. You know? You do things. So, yeah, there's some things that I would be like, dang, redo, but at the same time, nah, I'm gonna let it rock.
It was all part of the process that got you here now. Yeah. Well, so talk to me about kind of some of the things that you feel like now are the good and bad parts of you that you feel like are stemming from this relationship, or things that I think you would kind of mention, like, certain things that you're still like triggered by, or certain things that are like habits for you now. Talk to me about some of those.
Triggered by, I don't like yelling. Like, in a conversation, if we're having a debate, if we are not in alignment on something, if you start to raise your voice at me, it is a wrap. I shut down. I'm not talking, because I'm never going to allow myself to get to the point where I was at in that relationship where it became physical. Yeah. Or I black out because I'm not thinking, and you're just, all I hear is, and it's attacking. And then sometimes it makes me feel very like scared, like fight or fight. Like, I'm like, my body tenses. I don't like that. I don't like feeling like I'm inhibited in any way. And at the same time, like, you have the upper hand on me because you're the one yelling and I'm being calm. I don't like it. I don't like the dynamic of it. So no yelling, for sure. Too much of that. I also know that since anytime I would try to voice certain things, it would be a problem and yelling would take place. That's where I say I kind of got silenced, and I kind of reserved myself a little bit more in the relationship, just because certain things I did made her feel uncomfortable, because how I was in the beginning is not truly fully how I am, because of course you're going to dial back because you're with someone. So different things like that. I become where I want to say what I need to say. Somebody told me I'm passive aggressive. So I say it very like, and it's not in like a aggressive way at all. It's very passive, but at the same time, like, it's like, okay, if that's how you feel, I don't know what else you want me to do. Yeah. It's very, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm now learning about about myself. And then even though I knew what it was, it's certain ways that I displayed that I didn't even realize that I was displaying it. So now it's kind of learning how to communicate better and things of that nature. Even though I feel like I communicate very, very well, there are times where I won't say how I feel because I avoid conflict. And everything stems from, as you see, conflict. I don't like conflict in any type of way. Conflict is a trigger for me. So I like to make everything smooth bananas around here, so we don't have any issues or anything like that. So a lot of those things as far as just how I communicate my emotions, I just recently got comfortable telling certain people certain things, like, oh, I'm feeling very down today, I'm feeling very that, because before it'd be like brush off, whatever. And even after that situation, I found that person several times in between there, even though it was different ways that they triggered me, like it just let me understand myself better. But those are the main ways, like conflict, passive aggressiveness, communication.
Yeah. I feel like something I kind of had to learn over time was that my first relationship and my longest one, she kind of, I don't want to say she was always going through a crisis, but it was kind of like, it was kind of like everything a lot of the time had to emotionally be about her. It was like she always needed support. She was always having a crisis going on. She always needed help. She always needed my support. Like, I felt like there wasn't room for me to really need anything, or for me to have intense emotions, or for me to have negative emotions. And so kind of as years went on, I had people telling me that I was like very like not emotional. I just was like, and then I kind of realized at a certain point that I was like, I was even doing that with my friends. I was like, I felt like there was like a wall that never really like came down until I had to actively be like, okay, I usually wouldn't say this, but I'm going to say this now. Like, I'm going to say how I'm really feeling, what's really going on. Like, I'm usually like, I was like the strong friend.
Yeah.
I don't worry. Like, it was like, I never let anything get to me. I'm always good. Like, don't worry about it. I'm fine. And then I had to start just like being honest. I was like, I'm struggling right now.
Right. And that's what that's really what it is. Like, I got to the point where it was just like, now it's hard for me to ask for things, like, because I have a fear of rejection. Like, everybody has a fear of rejection, but I know it stemmed from, because before I would be able to just say and do whatever, but like after that situation, other situations, kind of like it's like I'm very prideful, and it's the difference between having pride and being prideful. So sometimes I'm too prideful because I don't want no one to be able to say, well, no, and she asked me for this, or she said that she was emotionally whatever, and does it have that upper hand on me? Yeah, like I don't.
You'd rather not ask than hear no.
Yeah, or feel vulnerable and then be gaslighted or rejected. Like, I just told you my truth, and you up here telling me you tripping.
Yeah.
I hate to hear you tripping once I say what I gotta say, bruh. Don't tell me I'm tripping.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, I got called moody at one point because I was like actively trying to say how I felt more, and I was like, nah, it's a big deal for me that I'm telling you how I feel.
Right.
Don't call
and
me moody.
They don't get it. They don't care. They're like, whatever, you're being moody. Like, I don't even tell people this stuff, and all the times for me to express one time, I'm moody now.
I guess I'll go back to being not emotional, but
passive aggressive.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? How you slip into that? Like,
it's just so kind of hard. Yeah.
Listen, all I can say is I've gotten so much more better, and like I'm so glad I'm more aware of it and conscious of it. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess on a similar note, do you believe in closure? I feel like there's kind of in the circles that I see in the YouTube videos that I watch on like love and relationships, because I'm one of those people who likes to watch videos about love and relationships on YouTube. There's like kind of a conversation around like whether closure is like a real thing or is like something that really exists, because it's like you can have like an experience with someone and you're like, I have closure, but then it's like 2 years later, if a situation happens or like you surprise see them somewhere, you're like, oh, emotions, so it's like, is that really like a real thing? Because it's not like you can feel like you have closure, but it's like you could still be like triggered by something related to the experience like down the road. So like, your opinion, like, do you feel like it's a real thing?
Yeah. I mean, I believe in closure. I believe I do believe it's a real thing. I think people sometimes seek it outside themselves, and that's where the problem lies. Like, when you seek it from outside yourself, like, oh, I need to have a conversation with them, and I need to say this to them, and I need to, I need to hear this from them. That's when it becomes like an issue, because you never had that full closure with yourself. So I think that's sometimes where you get triggered down the way, because you heard what you needed to hear from them, and they said what they needed to say, but you never really forgave yourself for putting yourself in a situation. You never forgave yourself for being the person you know what I'm saying? And I do believe in it, but it's a process in closure. And I think people are kind of linear sometimes when it comes to closure in their mindset of how that works. But at the same time, just because you've had that conversation, and just because you've given yourself that grace of saying, I forgive you, you've spent I don't know how many months in that situation. So it's going to take time. It's okay to see somebody and still feel a little bit of type of way. It's just a signal to let you know there's a little bit more to heal right there. But don't feel like you didn't have closure because you see somebody and they're with somebody else and you're just like, dang. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. You had closure. There's no more you need to hash out about that with them. You just need to go within yourself and be like, okay, why am I triggered? What's going on? Da, 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 da. So I think it's a process.
That is a good perspective.
Yeah.
So at what point do you feel like you felt I have closure? Could have been the day you left.
Nah. I really felt like I had closure with that situation once I understood the part I played in. I can't give you the exact date, but once I really understood what was happening in that situation and what took place, and the major part that I played in it, like I so much tried to be like, oh my gosh, she treated me like this. But at the same time, I took a lot of ownership. And then I realized I was taking too much ownership as well, because that's just how I am. So, I don't know. I'm trying to think exactly when that was. It wasn't that far.
What is it? I mean, when is relative?
Okay.
It's more like, just what gave you that.
Yeah. It was really getting in touch with myself, really coming to terms with who I am and getting spiritually connected more with myself. So once I started that spiritual journey, I'm going to say it was probably around 28. 28, and I got done when we were like 25. No, I got done when we were like 20, when I was 27. So yeah, around like 28, 29, I really started to get really back into my spiritual journey and understanding myself. And 2017, I'm gonna say then, because after that last relationship, I really had to look within myself and be like, you just gotta. That was the only one right after her, and it still was like, heck no. So let's figure this out. And once I started to figure it out and pour into me and get really, I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, cool. And that's like 2 years later. And I know it seems like a long ass time, but sometimes you don't. When you're not dealing with it, and it very much seemed like I was already closed, like I was closure and I was good. Yeah. I didn't realize that I hadn't dealt with anything. I kind of just slapped a Band-Aid on that bad boy and was like, we rolling. We're gonna do this because I got I got a child, I got a co-parent. I can't be sitting up here in these emotions being triggered every time I see her, when she gotta pick up my baby, drop off my baby. So but I really, really gave myself that closure. When my spiritual journey started. Again. Yes.
It's kind of a similar question that might have the same answer, might be different. But like I in my experience, kind of feeling like I had closure and feeling like I was healed kind of didn't necessarily feel like the same thing. Like I felt like I had closure when I was like okay with things ending, but then I didn't feel healed until I like had peace within myself. So like, I don't know, do you see like a difference in those? Like, do you feel like there was a difference when you felt healed as opposed to feeling closure?
Yes, yes. That's the little hand that they be doing like, yes, that's the one. That's why I'm just like, it seems like a long time, but like, I guess I felt closure from the situation because when we were done, like I made it to where like, okay, this is what's going to happen. This is what it's going to do. Like, she said a couple things that I was just like, okay, I feel like she understood what was going on. I feel like I understand what was going on. Let's just leave it at that. That was closure for me. But healed from it? Yeah, that was a 2017 moment, like where I was like, okay, let's really figure out what's going on with me. Let's figure out what I'm doing. Let's figure out why I have these issues with myself. Let's figure out why I still portray some of these characteristics in different situations, not only with my partners, but my friends. So let's dial into that. And once I got to there, and I'm still like in the process of growing. I don't want to keep saying I'm healing because I just recently talked about that. Like, we really think we're on this earth to heal, but we're really here to live. And we get so wrapped up in always fixing instead of just being. Yeah. So I'm getting to the point where I'm just enjoying being, but it took a minute for me to get to being. It did.
Yeah. I think also like things are gonna like continuously happen. Like, there's always gonna be something you gotta get over, always gonna be something that's bothering you. So I agree that there should be more living and less healing. The healing it comes with the living.
Exactly.
If you just
if you just live
your thing, it'll come. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
I would also say in my experience that I felt like there were some things that I have like gained from those experiences. Like, I feel like I gained a lot of ability to self-reflect, and like I feel like I love myself more after someone just really doesn't love me. You know? So I feel like definitely kind of after any like situation that goes bad, there are things that I feel like I take from it and I gain from it. So what overall from like the whole experience, what are some things that you feel like you gained out of this?
I'm gonna say a better perspective on who I am as a person and who I want to be. And if I had to bottle it into like a statement, just loving me like I love somebody else. Like, learning how to fully pour into myself like I pour into somebody else, and giving myself that same grace. Yeah. Because I don't know where it became where it was like I'm treating me like the person on the street instead of the person that I am. It just happened. But from everything, one of the biggest things I learned was I really have to put me first. I cannot pour from an empty cup. I cannot sit here. And even also, like, if there's holes in my cup, people can't pour into me if it's always going to be leaking out, the wayside. You know what I'm saying? So
if it's not going to be received.
Right. Properly. So getting all that together, patching up my holes, as they say, healing and all that good stuff. But the main thing was put me first. Yeah. Put me first. If I can't put me first, I can't do anything for anybody else. So that was one of the biggest things I've learned from that relationship and all thereafter. Put me first, for sure.
Yeah. And okay, that is all I got. Do you have any other reflections or lessons that you would just like to share or further express?
Reflections or lessons? Communication is a two-way street. Patience and tolerance are two different things. And put yourself first at the end of the day. Like, it's okay to put you first, and that doesn't mean you're being selfish. That means that you're being selfless. Yeah. At the end of the day, because the more you pour into self, the more you can pour into somebody else. So you're selfishly selfless. Yeah. So
I've heard. Yeah. One of my favorite like relationship experts, Shannon Boudram.
Oh,
I love Shan.
I did her course and everything after this.
I have her book. I got the book and the audiobook.
I did the whole workshop. I was like, you know what? Let me figure this out. I sent my little flyers out to my people and was like, answer these questions and tell me, how you felt about this. And they were like, what? I'm like, just do it. I need you to do it.
Yeah, she had a video where she talked about being selfish versus being selfful. Have you seen that video? Yeah, I feel like it's we're like, I think she was saying like, she had a phrase to it. It was like, selfish is me. She was like, selfish. Oh, this is what she said. I think it was selfish is me only, and selfful is me first. And so selfful is good, and selfish is bad. Right. Basically, she was saying. So I was like, that's the word. Selfful.
Selfful. Definitely be selfful.
Just make yourself a priority so that you can you can be the best you for everyone around.
Boudram.
Yeah.
Came through. The Boudram came through real quick. Yeah, I love Shannon. When I first started seeing her on YouTube, I don't know how I caught her, but she was on there just expressing all her emotions, boo crying about this situation.
Same, that was when I first saw her too. It was like the truth about my love life video.
She was the first one I saw. So authentic. I was like, and something just drew. Anybody who's being authentic and just living their truth draws me to them. I'm just like, you know what? That energy I appreciate you for being yourself, because somebody ain't gonna get on here and say this man dogged me out and I stayed and did it, and I played my part too as well. So I definitely enjoy Shannon.
Yeah, she's a part of my inspiration for doing this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's not taboo with Boudram.
Yeah.
She gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
She gonna talk about it.
But okay. Anything else?
No, that was
Okay,
it.
cool.
I appreciate this.
Yes,
I enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for being a guest. I really appreciate you opening up, sharing your story, sharing yourself with us today. And for the audience, you can find Rod on Instagram. I will have your information down below somewhere or up here.
You know, it's gonna be displayed. It's gonna be there.
It's gonna be there, so you can continue to follow her and see what she's up to. And that is all for now. I think I should wave. Bye, camera.